All right, in this video, I'm going to share my insights on the tariffs and the economy and the overall, big picture view about really what's going on from a perspective you probably have not heard or considered before. All right, my name is Gavin Mehl. So, I'm driving San Francisco Bay Bridge this morning, early morning, running sprints over there by the bridge, right on the Embarcadero, beautiful. And, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, this whole thing about the economy, it's just everywhere. I tune on 7:40 a.m. It's like AM talk radio. Never listen to talk radio, but my buddy last night, who I saw, my buddy Ron, and he was telling me, he's like, oh, listen to 7:40 a.m. and they've got talk radio about economy stuff. I'm like, so it happened to be on in my car once I got back into the car, and there it was. And they had the Federal Reserve talking about how the economy, what was going on with the economy and the rates and the tariffs, and it's like doom and gloom, big picture thing that's going on, and how the president, it's all really the executive branch's responsibility now. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to plug a website here as well. I think is really important. So, all right. So ultimately we got, these tariffs are nothing more than a gateway to end the Fed and end the IRS. So if you're an American, count your blessings. I'll tell you right now, these tariffs are the baby steps for us to getting rid of these bankers, getting rid of the bankers that have been holding us down since 1913. I'm telling you, the writing is on the wall. You got Congressman Massey's bill it's in Congress. It's called the Federal Reserve Abolition Act. It is there. It's early right now. It's not ready right now. It's not ready to go. Meaning like there's not public pressure yet. But as the tariffs kick in and revenue starts to flow back in to the U.S. and things start balancing, it's gonna be we're in this short-term chaos moment right now. We've got, our price is going to go up. Is the stock market going to go down? Well, the reason the stock market is going down is because you've got global elites in Europe, all right, that are pulling money out of the stock market. Global elites that are affected by these tariffs, they're pulling in money out of the stock market. It shows you how manipulated this thing is. But it shouldn't matter one way or the other, because at the end of the day, if we get rid of the Fed and we get rid of the IRS, we become more free. We get control of our life again. We're not surrendering ourselves to the banks. And that's the most important thing. It is. I'm going to tell you like it is. It is the most important thing. We get rid of the Fed, we get rid of the IRS, we become like an actual free people again. And that's where these tariffs are going. So for those who are really concerned about the economy, worried about what's going on, dude, shake it, man. Yeah, price may go down. Get ready to buy more. Whatever. I would be looking at the original Bitcoin protocol. It's the cheapest freaking thing that's ever been. I've never seen it. So I don't know if it's ever been this cheap. I think it may be at the lowest price ever. I don't know. I think it's 25. It's been the lowest it's ever been. It's been right around there. So I know I got another buddy. He's a freaking super cheapskate. Not a cheapskate, but he's like he's a deal hunter, like he knows when to buy cheap. Like he only buys cheap. I love those people because they're texting me, oh, it's super cheap right now. I'm going to buy BSV. It's super cheap. Buy, he's always waiting for that low, cheapest price. He'll wait forever. So yeah, right now is the time you want to do those things. And for me, the stuff that I've already acquired, I'm not, dude, like this is a 15-year plan for me. I'm on a 15-year long-term plan to build up the track record, okay? And build up, give as much value as I possibly can back to you guys over the next 15 years. And really, I feel like this is just the beginning. Even though I've been on YouTube now for freaking almost like 10 years. All right, really. Gosh, it's been a minute, but still, I feel like it's just now finally just getting started. And I want to just give it back as much as I can. So that's why I'm saying this is a huge moment right now to count our blessings, because we are going to be coming up to the end of the Federal Reserve. It is happening. And the tariffs are going to remain in place. And there's a lot of negotiation with that, but the fake news is going to taint what you see on these things. And there's somebody that I would recommend people follow. I should do a show with them because I respect him so much. And that's Joshua Reid, real Joshua Reid on X. He's not on YouTube, but he's on X. He's a former, I don't know if he was a naval officer or a Marine, but he was in the military. And now he's doing Red Pill Project. And he has some of the best insight on the overall geopolitical, spectrum that you will ever hear. He was on an X Space the other day, and I tuned in, I mean, he came in and absolutely just dropped so much knowledge on the people on X. The hosts were just like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, how did you do that? Like, he just downloads so much information. He gets in the zone about all the things that are going on and all his research and all the reports. And he's just giving the facts, just downloading all the facts at such a high level without bias, without, a bunch of smear and FUD, just like, here's what's going on. Here's the stuff you're not seeing. All these things that have happened in the past and what's going on right now and how it affects things going forward. And I mean, one of the things he talks about is like everything that we thought we knew, about, let's say Federal Reserve or interest rates or politics. You could forget all that. It's all over. None of that matters anymore because it's already come out that USAID was just funding all that through money laundering. And it was all just complete crime, a massive money laundering operation. So all that past geopolitical stuff, politics stuff, is all BS. And that's over. So now we're going to be coming into a more even playing field where grassroots or people with money are going to be funding operations and politicians. It's not just going to be USAID money laundering scam. And people should really get pissed off because, if you haven't heard, they have found now that $600+ million of people were getting relief packages who were dead or under 14 years old. And this was it was a COVID relief or rent relief packages. They were getting up to $600 million and they were over 115 years old or under 14 years old. Those are fake. Those are just people on paper only, names on paper only. Probably just fake people that are just going right back to the deep state. So, all this stuff's coming out and we're in an incredibly exciting time. I've never been more excited, honestly, to be alive when I start to really think about it. So I want to talk about it more because of how exhilarating it is to really start to feel freedom for the first time. And if you thought you were free, you were wrong. All right. I don't care how rich you were. You really thought you were free. You were hanging onto a pipe dream. We weren't free. We haven't been free since the 14th Amendment. Yeah, we have freedom, but it's not about what the courts have said. And this is Supreme Court case law. It's said many times over that we don't have the only constitutional right we have is the right to enforce our constitutional protections. That's it. 14th Amendment citizens don't have constitutional rights. They have rights to enforce constitutional protections. Okay. So, my constitutional rights, and the courts just laugh at you because that's not how it works. It sucks, but it's not how it works. That's the world we've been living in. And then when we have a federal judiciary, which could care less about a pro se person or an average person, or even the president himself, they don't care about him. They're just in it for their own political reasons. So now you're like, oh my gosh, we got real problems. But that's why when that happens, we got to be ready to challenge things on all fronts. We've got to be able to do a recall petition on the state judges, an actual going to the congressman on the federal level and getting the congressman to impeach that federal judge. And if the congressman's not going to impeach the federal judge, then we've got to go into his district and send out mailers to all his constituents and say, hey, this congressman's voted against the Constitution over and over again. Do not reelect this guy. Do not reelect this guy. He's gone against the Constitution and not have him in office. Oh, I won't do it. I'll make sure to, bring an impeachment bill on that federal judge now. Because if then they start bringing these impeachment bills on the federal judges and put pressures on them, then the next federal judge will shape up. He'll do better. I'll tell you what happened in California. Sacramento. Yours truly. He took it all the way to the wire, recalled the judge. We have the power in California to do that. It's an amazing procedure. We don't need Congress. We just need the will, and the freaking tenacity and the reason and the grounds, why would this person be recalled? Well, let me take a poll and stand outside the courthouse and see what people think about him. Oh my gosh, everybody hates this guy. Of course they do. And they're signing off on the petition. I'm standing outside the courthouse, right? Signing off on the recall petition, getting signatures. Oh, he's hated. He's telling me in courtroom he's a hero and they're going to build a statue over him. Well, it was just the opposite. And once he started, he'd rule on cases without jurisdiction. And he would not follow the basic rules of law, the basic procedures. He went against them. That's just not allowed. Then he would also ruled without jurisdiction complete when the case was in federal court. And so, I was like, I'm going to do a recall on him, served it on him, and, started the whole process. We went to court and he says, Gavin, Mr. Mehl thinks I'm a bad judge. He's never going to win. This recall is going nowhere. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he's going to, I'm never leaving this bench. I'm a hero in this town. People love me. A few weeks later, a couple months go by, boom, he's gone. Gone. He had like 4 years left on his term. 4 years left. Long gone. And that's how we make a difference, But I'll tell you what, I got respect. I got mad respect in that court, in this county, in that county. That's for sure. Not because I did anything wrong against the law. I didn't do anything against the law. I enforced that law to the max. And that judge went bye-bye. He's gone. He didn't just get fired from the case. He's gone. He was fired from his job, off the bench permanently. He can never be a judge again. So that's what real enforcement is all about. We got to take the matter and do it and really take action, make a big difference, because when you do that, you're standing up for other people's rights, so they're not getting trampled on. But, back to these tariffs and the economy, it's an amazing, it is an amazing time to be alive, because if these tariffs are literally going to be the end of the Fed. Now I want to plug a website here. It's off point, but it's this guy, Ramon Quesadilla. I'm sorry, Ramon, RamonQueseda.com. I'll post it here in the link below. And ultimately, he's got since 2020, it's been 5 years since this has been active. It's an old site. But since 2020 and before, he's got every single Craig Wright interview, video, and post database and uploaded to this website. And if you don't know who Craig Wright is, please do not read the fake news about what that corrupt judge in the UK said in the court case, because I covered that court case every single day. That was the Satoshi trial in the UK, okay? And we all know that judge ruled without jurisdiction over there. Judge Mudd, I don't even remember his name, Judge Miller, right? He ruled without jurisdiction on his own disqualification. That's the same thing that judge did that I got recalled, same thing. He did the same thing. He ruled on his own disqualification. So I know that's not allowed. You can't do that. So he did the same thing. That deprives the court of jurisdiction. It's a right judgment over there. Anybody could motion the court. Anybody. A void judgment is void ab initio. Any random guy, as long as he's a citizen over there, could motion that court and vacate that judgment. That's how freaking void that thing is. It's void on its face. You look at it. Oh, he was disqualified. He was ruling. Oh, there's no jurisdiction on this case. Boom, get him out. So it's ripe. He's sitting over there. The Copa thinks they're fat and happy and real pretty. And Jack Dorsey's over there posting on X about how, IP law should get rid of IP law. Jack Dorsey, sloppy Jack Dorsey, is the biggest, gaslighting traitor, who had X, forfeited from him. Twitter X forfeited from him for constitutional violations. All right, that's on a sealed indictment. So sloppy Jack Dorsey out gaslighting now on X. Oh, get rid of IP law. He's the founder of COPA, all the intellectual property operations over there about, these cases going against Dr. Wright. Get rid of intellectual property law. Sloppy Jack Dorsey. Give me a break, dude. Yeah, we haven't heard a word from him, have we? He's on a sealed indictment. He lost all his stuff. He don't have any power. He has nothing. He's got a little bit of a mouth. He doesn't even have his mouth anymore. Like, I would be, happy to talk to him, but he's just he's a nothing. He's nobody. He's sloppy Jack. So check out that site. It has all the videos about Craig going back in time for the last, from 20, everything pre-2020. And not a lot of them have been blacked off the internet. All the Ryan X. Charles stuff and all that stuff's gone. And Ryan X. Charles, man, I will comment on him. He's a really freaking dude. Honestly, like living in San Francisco, that was the guy I looked up to. I never got the chance to meet him, but I watched his stuff on the Fork, and I have so much respect for the guy, and everything he did. And I don't know him personally, so I really don't have a right to comment about him other than when I followed him. I don't know what he's up to now, but when I followed him at the time, he freaking was awesome, and he really, covered every single thing about the Bitcoin's splits. And, he was just really a person to look up to. And I went to a couple of meetups, never got a chance to see him in person. I wonder how history might have been a little bit differently if he and I would have lined up in like 2017, what would be different now? I don't know. Probably, maybe nothing, but could have been different. Ultimately, I have a lot of respect for him. He did a ton of videos that are not on the internet anymore about Dr. Wright and the history of Bitcoin and the entire background, and he has different opinions now about Dr. Wright, and that's fine. I mean, honestly, the court said he's not Satoshi. So for anyone who agrees with that, dude, I can see. I can't argue with you saying, "Oh, you're wrong." No, the court said that. That's right. Okay? But for somebody who followed the case every day and you know what actually happened in that case, okay, we know that court ruled without jurisdiction. Does that make him Satoshi? No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying the court case was it was a complete fraud. The COPA case. Jack Dorsey now is saying get rid of IP law. So I'm on a little bit of a rant, 16 and a half minutes. I'm going to be meeting with some people this week, a couple guys this week about pushing the agenda forward regarding Coinflow. And it's Coinflow is like basically what it is, it's an app, it's a website integration that does one-click onboarding on Solana inside USDC right now. All right, so USDC, you click one click, let's say two clicks, one click and then another, and then you're able to buy Solana USDC on a token or a baseball card, a meme card that you want with just one click. It's so amazing. And when you use it for the first time, you get used to it. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm using crypto? This is crypto? It actually is it's crypto. Okay, but it doesn't seem like it at all because it's technically onboarding you into the stablecoin. And this is so critical going forward. If the original Bitcoin protocol wants to thrive, it needs this. So this week I'm going to be putting a little more, having some meetings about that because the guys at Money, Stablecoin, they don't think they need it. They've decided they don't need it. They've decided they don't need it. It's not important to them. And I completely think that's a huge mistake by not doing it because, how can you draw demand for the stablecoin if people can't buy it? And I'm talking the 99% of people can't buy it. Yeah, there's a few people in the industry that can buy it who already have BSV or maybe Rock Wallet. That's very few. I'm talking about everybody else. How are they going to buy it? They're not because it's too hard and there's no need. They don't need one of those products bad enough, So, but as we roll out, like with the content creator platform, okay, which is coming right now. I mean, it's well, I can't comment too much about it, but it will eventually roll out. There's demand because people want people want these things. You got a huge famous content creator. Well, they have a big audience. Their fans want to buy their stuff. That's just natural. You got a big audience. Your fans want to buy what you have. So as those people come in, that's marketing. That's true marketing, and that's going to happen. But in order to capture the fans, we have to have a one-click onboarding. Because nobody's going to go out and buy a crypto exchange and do a 48-hour KYC to buy a $20 meme coin or a 50-cent picture. So I am meeting with those guys again this week, a couple of days. We'll talk more about that. It's on Tuesday night, California time. And there's my rant. A little bit of a rant. Tariffs, what's going on with the economy, the Federal Reserve, overall, that website I'll post below. It's the amazing website. And there is a video that if people haven't watched it, I'm sure most people have, but it's the video that Craig Wright did after he won the Kleiman case. And it was on a mainstream news network. I'm trying to think what it was called. But he was interviewed on there, and he talked about the Kleiman case and how the Kleiman case determined that he was the rightful holder and owner and controller of all the Satoshi coins. And it did. And that's what the holding says. In this case, we're going to determine the creation, basically the origins of Bitcoin. Okay? And that's what was determined, the origins of Bitcoin, because there was a dispute over it. People who can read the case, just the holding itself, it's clear as day in the U.S. And so it's funny, I did a video the other day about the Fed, or that special agent going out and interviewing somebody about being Satoshi, Come on, 2019. Who do you think that was? Biggest case going on of all time, Kleiman v. Wright. $64 billion on the line, the Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin holdings, all the Satoshi coins are on the line. That's what that case was about. All the Satoshi era coins, 1.1 million Bitcoin were on the line in that case. Is it not? Is it? I mean, if that case is over. It's well settled law. Anyways, funny stuff. There's so much more to come. I wish I could share more. I did an amazing, I had an incredible freaking media appearance thing that I did a week ago that I'm under seal, not allowed to talk about, but it's big news and it's going to be huge. Put it that way. Got some great pictures on it. It's badass. So I wish I could tell you more, but I'll have to save that for another day. All right. Hit the ones, leave a comment. I'll see you at the top. This is Gavin Mehl.